Today, okay, I'll start again. Sorry. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the webinar. Today, we're going to be talking about digital marketing. For all of you who it's your first time, my name is Natalie. I'm a digital marketer, about 6 years of experience. I've worked with clients like Dove, Dr. Scholl's, Degree, Seventh Generation. I've gone ahead and done a lot of corporate work into the past, but my real passion is going ahead and working with small businesses to help them build their online presence and their brand, which is why I'm here today. So welcome, everyone. Okay, with that introduction out of the way, actually, if you wouldn't mind, I like sometimes making these interactive inside the chat. If you wouldn't mind going ahead and introducing yourselves, and maybe just if you have a business or what your prospective business is, and if you're familiar with what digital marketing is. So I'll give you guys a little second to pop inside of the chat. Just your name, if you have a business or prospective business, and if you're familiar with what digital marketing is. Give everyone a few seconds to pop that in the chat. Okay. Hi, Annie. I see Annie went ahead and popped in. Nice to meet you. Excited to learn about digital marketing. Awesome, you came to the right place. Hi, Maureen. Okay, getting started with my own coaching business. A little familiar, but not too knowledgeable about smart digital marketing. Okay, awesome. Again, coming to the right place. Coaching business. What type of coaching do you do? I'd love to know that. Mary. Hi, Mary. Private language instruction plus edutainment. Oh, fun. Very fun. I think that'll be really great for what we're going to talk about with content marketing today. I think that'll be great for that. Hi, Dina, and you're familiar with digital marketing. Awesome. So hopefully this was just a refresher course and I can provide just a little bit of extra value with some maybe some tips or facts that you might not necessarily know yet. I see Jasmine. Hi, Jasmine. You go ahead and do hair. That's awesome. I see Mary said ESL, civics, and Italian. Very cool. Oh, Mary. Hi, Mary. I think if you're the Mary I'm thinking about, then yeah, hi, Mary. Nice to see you again. My name is, okay, I'm going to go ahead and butcher this probably. Yared Sabel, I believe. Starting entrepreneur, working on a business plan for an aesthetics business. Okay, cool. So I'm assuming like makeup, hair, maybe facials. If you could clarify, that'd be awesome in the chat. You know, a little bit about digital marketing, but not much. Again, great place to go ahead and start. This will definitely be a very much a one-on-one course, so we're going to go ahead and cover everything at a broader picture view, but I'll also go ahead and provide you guys with some steps on how to go ahead and get started with each. Maureen said, focus on starting over, new beginnings, fresh starts. Awesome. Love new beginnings. Hi, Tatiana. You have an online boutique. It's awesome. What do you sell in the boutique? Is it more clothes? Is it knickknacks? You know, a little bit about marketing. That's awesome. Okay, you said facials and all things skincare. Okay, awesome. No, I'm a big skincare fanatic, so love all things skincare. And you said clothing, Tatiana. Okay, cool. Awesome. Okay, well, it's nice to meet everybody. Thank you for joining. With that, I guess, introductions out of the way, we can go ahead and get started. And just to preface, I always like to go ahead and ask people to go about their business and everything, because I like to include like little examples or any type of tips of advice that I have for everybody with their own prospective business to hopefully provide you guys with some direct value. So, well, I'll chime in kind of here and there with just little tidbits here and there. So, all right, awesome. Okay, so for today's workshop agenda, we're going to go ahead and do a brief introduction over just digital marketing, a quick summary. Then we'll go ahead and go into social media, your website. search engine optimization, or SEO, email marketing, content marketing, and then we'll close out with some resources and yeah. So that's what we're going to go ahead and cover over today. Okay, so what is digital marketing? So digital marketing is basically just online marketing for less fancy terms. So you go ahead and have the use of websites, emails, social media, search engines, and other digital means to promote and sell your products and services. So it's just basically creating different types of content to promote and sell your products and your services. It's just another form of marketing, but it's just everything online, which nowadays is huge with everybody going ahead and being online 50% of their day for the most part, if not work. Then for leisure, you're going to be going ahead and using the computer and your cell phone pretty much 24/7. So it's a very big and important touch point for almost every single type of small business nowadays. So kind of, started on that, but why is it essential for my business? So one, you can go ahead and reach way more potential customers. Digital marketing can reach a really wide audience, way more than traditional marketing, such as billboards and direct mail. There are billions of people on, social media, checking their emails alone. And those are all individuals that you can go ahead and you can potentially reach through organic methods, but also through paid methods. And all those people, have the potential to go ahead and to be your customer. Digital marketing also creates top of mind awareness. So digital marketing, you could potentially reach your audience anytime they check their smartphone or desktop. By top of mind awareness, I mean, keeping your business, top of mind. So if you were to go ahead and meet somebody, off the street and you were to go ahead and talk about your business, that's one touch point. But after you go ahead and talk to them, they're going to go about their days and their lives, and they might think about your business again, or they might not. So by going ahead and using digital marketing, you can go ahead and help to create additional touch points for people to remember your business and to go ahead and interact with your business outside of your physical location or by talking to you in person. So, by going ahead and having someone go ahead and follow you on social, they're reminded every time you post about your business and about your product. Every time you send an email, again, reminded again about your business and your product, and it just creates more opportunities for them to go ahead and purchase and to get involved with your business. It also provides cost-effective marketing. So digital marketing is a lot, way more cost-effective than traditional marketing methods, especially compared to something like TV back in the day. I mean, it's a little more obsolete now, but you can spend millions of dollars for one TV ad slot. But with digital marketing, you can run a campaign for as little as $5 if you wanted to, and still go ahead and reach potential customers who would be wanting to convert to your product. And then last but not least, it helps you connect with customers. So it gives you endless opportunities to engage with your customers through social media posts or email newsletters and the like. By engaging with your customers, you can build relationships, build authority, make sure people know what you're going ahead and talking about with your business, which really goes ahead and helps to go ahead and build customer loyalty, and also to go ahead and help your customers go ahead and share the word with other people who might be interested in it. So yeah, very, very essential nowadays for most businesses. And all of you will at some point most likely go ahead and use some form of digital marketing. It's just the question of what digital marketing is going to work best for your business. That's the real question. So on that, these are kind of the main pillars of digital marketing. There's of course probably others, but these are going to be the main ones that most of you will go ahead and use, or some mix of them. So you have social media, your website, email, SEM/SEO, content marketing, and then paid ads. So I'm going to go ahead and go over the first 5 today, and I'll have resources on paid ads because that can be its whole, it's basically its whole other webinar, because there's a lot of things that you can go ahead and do with paid ads. So we won't necessarily have time for that, but I will go ahead and provide resources at the end for you to go ahead and take a look at for that. Okay. So a good place to go ahead and to start off when it comes to digital marketing is basically just doing an audit on your business. So if you have a prospective business or a new business, you want to go ahead and basically just create a checklist. Do you have a social media account for your business specifically, not necessarily a personal account, but a business social media presence? Do you have a website? Do you have a Google business page? Do you have an email list? Have you started collecting emails? So these are all things that you want to go ahead and consider and kind of like check off to go ahead and see what you have and where you can improve. And the same thing for established businesses. You want to go ahead and evaluate what's currently working and what's not. So does your website get visitors? Do you see social follower growth? Does your business come up on Google? Do you collect email information? So things to keep in mind and a good kind of gauge and checklist to see where you're at. Okay, so with the introduction overview done, I'm going to go ahead and dive into each one of the core marketing strategies that I covered earlier. First, starting off with social media. So social media, creating content for social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and the like, to go ahead and promote your products and engage with audiences and also build brand awareness. So some of the benefits of social media is the fact that it's a cost-effective growth strategy. And it's really, really great for brand awareness. So many people go ahead and use social. I think Facebook is the largest, and they have somewhere like, in the billions of people who go ahead and use their platform on a daily basis. So it's really great for just high volume traffic, really great growth and brand awareness. And the awesome thing about it is the fact that even though there's this huge amount of people who are on it, you can still go ahead and be very specific with your targeting, which is great, because being the fact that there's so much content out there, people tend to go ahead and have their niches and go ahead and also plug in their demographic information. So you can get very specific with who you want to go ahead and reach, based on the platform, but also based on the ad tools that they have at their disposal. Limitations with social is that it does require consistent content creation to go ahead and to be active. That's going to be one of the biggest headaches as a business owner, is just going ahead and staying on top of going ahead and creating posts and ideating and figuring out what to go ahead and do. So that's something to go ahead and keep in mind. And then the fact that the algorithm changes can go ahead and really impact reach, which is something that, again, if you're on social, you'll know the wonders and beauties of the algorithms. So it's just something that you have to go ahead and stay on top of sometimes, keep up to date with the latest trends, keep up to date with the latest social media platform updates, so that way your business can stay relevant and you're using the most relevant strategies. So I know like, for example, on Instagram, like hashtagging used to be like the thing to do, to go ahead and to get your post seen by the right people. But nowadays, hashtags are very much kind of, well, not necessarily obsolete. Most people do recommend keeping 3 to like 5 hashtags in your post, just so the algorithm can know who to recommend your content to or what type of content you're posting about. But in terms of going ahead and getting it seen by people, it's not going to go ahead and be what's really going to go ahead and drive that that post awareness. So stuff like that is just a lot of changes. So this might be an area where you might want to go ahead and hire a freelancer, if you don't necessarily have the time to go ahead and keep up with the social media presence, if you have the funds. If not, then start low and slow, maybe like post like once a week, at minimum if you can. Here is a social media roadmap. So basically, if you're starting from scratch on social media, this is kind of a roadmap that I would follow to go ahead and to get started. So choose what social media platforms you want to post on, set up your social media profiles, choose what content you want to post, and then choose what day/time you want to post. So in terms of the social media platforms, these are kind of the main 5 that I usually go ahead and recommend to my business clients. You'll notice that Twitter, aka X, is off the list, along with a few others like Reddit. I don't really find those platforms to be as business friendly. These are probably some of the better ones. So you have Facebook, which is one of the largest, like I mentioned earlier. So it's really good for reaching a broad audience. I recommend you all to go ahead and at least try to go ahead and have either a Facebook or an Instagram account, just because these are the behemoths under Meta. So if you can have one or the other, it's great. And the cool thing about having both of them is the fact that they link up to each other. So if you post on one, you'll be posting on the other. You can post on the other one with just kind of a flick of a button. So that's awesome for that. Instagram, it's a very visually heavy platform for photo and videos for storytelling. On Instagram, you have really high engagement and purchase intent. It's one of the best platforms, especially if you're an e-commerce business. I know I had saw before, I think I believe someone had said they did a clothing business, another one for skincare and for facials. This would be a great place for you to go ahead and to be because of the fact that the purchase intent. I know myself, I've gone ahead and purchased things from Instagram before for like Christmas or for gifts or for holidays. Again, it's very visually enticing, and they do have a direct integration with e-commerce. You can always go ahead and directly integrate your business with Instagram and just sell your products off of an Instagram shop. So it's a very good place for any type of e-commerce business, especially one that's visually appealing. Then you have TikTok, which is a rapidly growing platform for short form content, video content specifically. Emphasis on the video content because that's the only thing that you can really post on there. For TikTok, it has really good high organic reach, emphasis on the organic reach with young audiences. It's one of the platforms I find the best in promoting your content without having to pay to go ahead and promote your content. Hence, you have like, stories of people going like TikTok viral and TikTok famous just because it has a propensity to do that. And knowing the fact that while there are a lot of people on the platform, especially younger audiences, not every single person is going ahead and posting as opposed to like an Instagram or a Facebook where you post your personal moments. TikTok is a little bit more tailored, a little bit more performance wise. So it's going to go ahead and it's going to do a pretty decent job of promoting your content organically to your audiences. Then there's LinkedIn, which is professional networking platform. It's going to be the place to be for B2B marketing. Especially, I know someone had said that they were a consultant. That's a really good place for you as a consultant to go ahead and to be on, to go and establish your brand as an authority, to establish your services and your expertise in your coaching business. So that would be a good place for that, especially if it's a more of a professional coaching. And then lastly, there's YouTube, which is the largest video sharing platform. YouTube is a little bit more of a time-intensive place to go ahead and be. But if you have a complex product, or if you're going ahead and doing something like education, I believe I saw someone going ahead and doing something with an education, it's a really good place to go ahead and to be. People usually come over there to be educated, of course for entertainment too, but it's probably the education platform I like to think of it as. So if you have an interesting process too, like if you go ahead and like, make your products by hand, or package them, or have like a certain craftsmanship to your products, it's a really good place to be, to go ahead and showcase it and to get people excited and interesting about your product. So that's a breakdown. So step one, choosing your social media platform. So you just want to think about which one of these platforms makes sense for your business. Usually I would go ahead and use a mix of them, with leaning towards, aiming for 1 to 2 platforms if you're just starting off. As you go ahead and go and you get more consistent, and you get really good at putting and posting, you can branch off from there, but I wouldn't necessarily start off with more than 2 platforms. And so heads up for that. Next, you want to go ahead and set up your social media profiles. So if you already don't have one, you want to go ahead and create an account that's specific for your business. That's one area that I see some small business owners going ahead and having some troubles with, is the fact that they might go ahead and merge the personal with their business, or have multiple different businesses on one account. You want to keep it as specific as possible. You don't want to confuse the algorithm. That's probably one of the worst things that you can go ahead and do, because a lot of times when you confuse the algorithm, if you're posting, your business stuff, but then also going ahead and posting, personal family photos, or, like photos of what you cooked last night, it just goes ahead and the algorithm isn't then able to go and promote your content to the people who would most likely want to engage with your content, because it doesn't know what you do. Then you want to go ahead and make sure you choose a consistent username or handle. Use either your business name or recognizable version of your handle across all platforms for consistency. Add a profile picture, and by profile picture, I do mean your logo. Unless you're going ahead and doing a business like that leans more towards like if you're a real estate agent or something like that, where, having your face is, you are the brand, then definitely have a logo. I recommend you going ahead and going onto something like Canva, which I made this presentation in. They have a bunch of logo templates that are easy to basically just edit, drop in your brand name, change the colors, and you can go ahead and slap it up there and call it a day. Don't spend too much time on going ahead and doing the first version of your logo. Just, you can always reiterate in the future. Then you want to update your bio/about section. You want to go ahead and explain what your business does in as few words as you can. Just keep it super succinct, making sure that you include keywords in there, which we'll talk about a little bit later. And you want to include contact information / ways for people to go ahead and actually purchase your product or contact you to go ahead and get like a quote if you're doing something more like a consulting business or like a home improvement company. You just want to basically have a way for people to take the next step as soon as they get onto your page, because people don't like to search for things. The more that people have to go ahead and search for things, the less likely they are to go ahead and to convert, because you might have people who drop off in the process who are like, this is too much work. I don't want to go ahead and do this, like I'll go ahead and find this somewhere else, or I wasn't really interested. So just give them the least amount of time as you can to go ahead and to navigate off the page to go ahead and have to find the information from you. And this ties into that section too. You want to always then go ahead and include a link to your website or important landing page and use a call to action like sign up here, learn more, shop now. Again, giving them an action to go ahead and to do to further engage with your page. Awesome. And then step 3 is choosing the type of content that you want to go ahead and post. Usually you want to have a mix of these types of content. No pages, you don't want to go ahead and post the same thing over and over again. So you're going to go ahead and want to have a solid mix minus promotion, which I'll cover once I get through the types of content. But usually you have entertainment posts, which are like memes and funny videos, educational posts, which include tips, infographics, tutorials, guides, and articles, engaging posts that includes quizzes, polls, and Q&As. A lot of times the quizzes and polls will be integrated directly into the platforms. Like I know like Instagram and TikTok have poll options where you can go ahead and poll your audience. People can see, the realized results in real time. I find those to be really good, especially for, if you're going ahead and in the middle of some new product development, or if you're going ahead and trying to, have struggles going ahead and trying to pick something for your business. It's really nice to go ahead and involve your audience to make them feel like they're part of the process, because it's just a good way to go ahead and connect with people and make people feel like they are a part of it. And it's a good feeling for customers. Promotional content. So that's product updates, new releases, and giveaways. This type of content you definitely want to try to keep to a minimum, in the sense of just having just a straight up promotional post. You can always go ahead and have promotion kind of sprinkled through the type of content, like the educational content, by including the product in there, but having a direct kind of, this is, promotion. This is, like buy this product. You definitely want to try to keep that content to a minimum. And then finally, there's personal content. So that's stuff like behind the scenes, meet the team, just like little peeks into your process, into your day-to-day as a business owner, or into your teammates, or into your product process. Again, it's really nice to go ahead and build that personal connection with people. And the more connections that your customers have with you, the more likely they are to go ahead and have a positive association with your business, but also more likely to go ahead and repeat, to go ahead and to share your business with other people, and to go ahead and spread the word. So it's a really good tactic. I really like personal content a lot, especially because it's also a little bit like low effort way to go ahead and to reach audiences, because you don't have to have a whole production where you have like lighting with something like promotional content. You don't have to go ahead and necessarily come up with like something really, funny for entertainment, which is of course subjective sometimes. So it can just be you and your day-to-day and just showing what you do. So love me some personal content. Okay. And then you want to choose what day/time to go ahead and post. You want to go ahead and make sure that you, plan ahead. So plan your content for a week or a month in advance, and decide how often you're going to go ahead and post. So I like to usually plan the content a month ahead of time, just to give myself runway if to go ahead and to figure out like, okay, so I'm not scrambling, you know, the week of like, oh my God, what am I going to post this week? It's very stressful. So at least getting the ideas out there of what you're going to go ahead and post will help you to go ahead. And then when you're actually going ahead and making the content, it's not like it's a scramble of kind of just trying to go ahead and get everything together. And then alongside with that, deciding how often you're going to go ahead and post. Like I had mentioned earlier, I like to tell most small business owners, especially if they're posting themselves, to try to go ahead and post at least once a week, just to keep some type of routine in there, just to go ahead and keep, again, your brand top of mind each week. If you did go ahead and decide to go ahead and hire someone like a freelancer, if you do have the funds available for that, I, would tell you to go ahead and, if you can, to up the frequency to, about maybe like 3 times a week if you can. Some people go ahead and recommend, 5 times a week depending on the platform. But, I think that the sweet spot usually is somewhere between, 3 to 5 times a week depending on the platform. But at least as a small business owner can, just 1 time a week. Okay, I'm sure it'll be perfectly fine. Just build the momentum. Then you want to designate the time that you go ahead and actually create the content. And this is a very important one, to keep yourself honest. Go ahead and put aside at least like, if you have a specific day of the week, like, okay, Sunday mornings, I go ahead and make content and I block aside, 2 hours, 3 hours in the morning, to go ahead and to record, to edit, to do whatever. Just go ahead and put that block of time aside, keep yourself honest with it, because that's going to be what's going to keep you consistent. And try to go ahead and, if you can, I'd like to go ahead and create multiple posts in one go, just so I can go ahead and schedule them and kind of just get it off my mind and my hands. If you want to go ahead and dedicate an entire day to create multiple posts, and so that way you can kind of relax and have peace of mind after that. And then repurpose everything. So that's going to be your saving grace in terms of keeping things consistent too. Is just repurposing content for different things, just to streamline things. An Instagram post can be turned into a blog post, a Facebook post. There's so many ways that you can repurpose. You can turn a video into text, a text into an infographic. Just keep the formats fresh, but also to go ahead and keep you sane, so you don't have to go ahead and come up with as many ideas. Just repurpose across the platforms. Okay, and then finally, here's some winning strategies for social. So post regularly to keep your audience engaged. Schedule posts in advance, which I really milked a little second ago, so we covered that. Reply to comments and engage with followers. Join community conversations to build community trust. That's going to be a really big one. The social media algorithm really does favor when you are social yourselves. They are businesses after all, and social media is in the business of people being social and being engaged with the app. So the more that you engage, replying to comments, engaging with followers, joining conversations, the more, one, your content's going to go ahead and get promoted to other people, because the algorithm goes ahead and learns, and it rewards you for being social. But then it also goes ahead and, again, just builds trust within the community. So try to go ahead and be as social as you can on social. And then the last one, using targeted ads to reach a larger audience based on things like location and interest. Targeted ads are going to be some of your best friends, especially when you're first starting off on social, to go ahead and to get that momentum started. I'm a big proponent of paid ads, especially being the fact that on social media, they're very low cost, which is great, especially for small business owners who are just starting off. You can go ahead and promote your posts. I wouldn't necessarily go ahead and, try to pour money into all these ads, work within your budget, go ahead and set, try starting off with like, a 2-week campaign, on a post that you go ahead and you boost it on like Instagram or something, and, see what kind of results you get, see if you get any new followers, you get likes, see who's following you, just kind of test and learn, see what's out there, and see what kind of growth you can go ahead and get with it. But it's a really good place to start, especially if you're a new business and you're looking to go ahead and gain a following. Because if not, it can tend to go ahead and take a little while to go ahead and build the following organically. Not to say it's impossible, but it's definitely going to give you a good boost up when you're just starting off. So yeah, so that covers over social. And this is kind of, going to be the format of the rest of the webinar. Just to go ahead and give you guys a heads up, we have about an hour and a half together. So I'm keeping it top line, but I want to go ahead and give you guys little insightful little tidbits here and there when I can. So with that being said, moving on to your website. So your website is your central online hub where customers can learn about your business, view products or services, and make purchases. So the benefits to your website is the fact that it improves credibility and professionalism. And that's going to be one of the biggest things about your website, aside from, of course, being a hub where you can actually sell products if you do have like e-commerce. But when when you're looking up a business, let's say if you find out the business name, the first thing you do is Google the business. And one of the first things that should come up realistically is the business's website. If your business doesn't have a website, a lot of times it goes ahead and gives you a ding in the eyes of other people to go ahead and be like, is this business legit? Is it real? What's happening with it? You definitely do want to have at least like a website, or you can of course substitute with your social media as your proxy for your website, but it's another good landing page to go ahead and build credibility for your business. The limitations with your website is the fact that setup can be costly / time intensive. Costly if you don't do it yourself, time intensive if you do it yourself, which I do recommend most business owners to go ahead and do it themselves, especially because nowadays you have a lot of website builders online that make it pretty easy to go ahead and to build a website. And just the fact that it also needs ongoing maintenance. So sometimes there might be, theme updates, or you might have additional information you need to add. There's also blog posts, which we'll touch on a little bit later when we talk about content marketing. So it's just something that you need to go ahead and check in on every now and again to go ahead and make sure everything is up to date and everything is working okay. Okay, awesome. Website building roadmap. Website's pretty straightforward. You want to choose a website builder and then build the website. So when choosing a website builder, you want to go ahead and make sure that you choose the right website builder for your type of business. But a website builder basically is a tool that goes ahead and helps you create your own website without having to code, because who has time to learn how to code when you're trying to go ahead and build a business. So they'll go ahead and provide you with starter templates and drag and drop features to go ahead and make it as easy as possible to build a website. And most website builders nowadays, luckily, go ahead and include your domain name, a company email, and an SSL certificate, which is pretty much all that you go ahead and need to actually have a business, have a website, and to get running and going. So it's really an all-in-one solution. So some of the top three. You have Squarespace, which is known for its sleek, modern, highly customizable templates to make it ideal for visually appealing websites. By visually appealing, I mean, if you're doing any type of artistry work, you go have any, very visual products or anything like that, and you sell a small amount of products, that's kind of the only caveat. Squarespace is very much for, your more service-based, I would say, service-based type businesses, I feel like do well with Squarespace, being the fact that they do have e-commerce tools, but it's definitely not as good as something like a Shopify. And then you have Wix, which is the most user-friendly one. So if you're not necessarily super computer savvy, I definitely recommend Wix. They go ahead and have drag and drop options with lots of flexibility in terms of design and features. And so again, very good if you're not necessarily super computer savvy. And then lastly, there's Shopify, which is the go-to website builder for anybody who's focused on selling products online, especially if you have a large inventory. Like I know someone had mentioned clothes. If you have a large inventory, Shopify is really going to make your life so much easier. They have a bunch of different tools for going ahead and selling in terms of label making and inventory management and insights. So very, very good for e-commerce. Love it for e-commerce. Okay. So that's the website builder, and then building out the website essentials. So these are kind of the main pages that you're going to go ahead and want to have on your website. You don't necessarily need more. You want to keep the navigation pretty straightforward and simple. You don't want people going ahead and having to take their website for everything that they need. So of course you need your home page, which is your landing page or your first impression. So you want to make sure it's visually interesting. It goes ahead and showcases who you are. You want to make sure that you have a brief description about your business. So when people go ahead and first come there, they know that they've come to the right place. An about us section where people go ahead and you want to share your story as a business to connect emotionally with your visitors. So a little bit of background about you, about why you started the business, or background about the business, if it has a history, your journey to being a business owner. It really goes ahead and helps to go ahead and, again, connect emotionally with your audience. Of course, your products and services, showcase what you offer with clear descriptions, images, and pricing, keeping it nice and succinct so people don't have to necessarily dig for that information. A contact us page. This is where customers are going to go ahead and get in touch with you for inquiries, whether that be questions, FAQs, and the such. If you're going ahead and doing a more service-based business, that would go ahead and kind of mingle with the services page, assuming, if you're doing email inquiries, etc. And then lastly, you have your blog, which is one area that's going to be pretty important depending on the business. Of course, there's caveats. Not necessarily everybody has time to go ahead and make a blog post, but nowadays, especially with tools like ChatGPT, it's a really good way, and it's a lot easier than it used to be. And it's going to be really good for SEO, going ahead and making sure that your website goes ahead and reaches as high as it can in Google rankings. But like I said, we'll go ahead and touch on it a little bit more in content marketing. But for anybody who can and who has the time, I definitely recommend going ahead and putting a blog on your page and just covering over, relevant topics, frequently asked questions that people might have about your industry, or the types of products or services that you go ahead and do, because it's really going to go ahead and help your website to be as visible as possible on Google. So that's my spiel about blogs.
Now, I have a couple questions in the Q&A.
Oh, yeah, of course. Sorry. I'm like looking at the chat thinking like, oh, that's
no, it's not a problem. Okay. So the first one is, hi, such great content. Thanks. What is more typical, different audiences on different platforms or the same demographic across platforms?
Okay, that's a good question, Wade. So I think you probably, it leans a little bit more towards different audiences, sometimes on different platforms. You'll have people who tend to go ahead and lean into one platform more heavily than the other. Like, me personally, while I have a Facebook account, I really don't go on Facebook. You'll find me more on Instagram and YouTube. So I'll follow, a business on Instagram, but I'm not necessarily going to go ahead and follow their other presences because I'm not really on there. And that's just based off of a personal preference. Of course, age and demographics goes into that too. So while you might have, I think it tends to go ahead and be different across different platforms, which is good news for you, because that means that you can go ahead and reach more people that way. And it's not like you're reaching the same repetitive audiences. But yeah, they tend to go ahead and be different. Not to say that you can't have similar, but there does tend to be a big difference in the different types of people on there. So that I hope they answered your question.
We do have another question.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on WordPress? Is that harmful? Is it useful for business, or is it better for a hobbyist?
I would probably say it's maybe a little bit better for a hobbyist, in terms of the fact that while WordPress is really nice in the fact that it's cost efficient, it's going to be a bit less costly than other solutions. It does take more time to go ahead and to set up and to get in the weeds, especially if you're doing something like integrating e-commerce into WordPress. It's more so for people who are pretty computer savvy, because you're going to be doing a lot of hands-on work trying to go ahead and build up the website. If you're a business owner, you're going to be trying to go ahead and build your business and doing other things like accounting and selling and trying to keep up with your customers. So I don't necessarily recommend it to business owners, just because it's going to go ahead and take a lot of your time to go ahead and to build something like a WordPress site. Unless you're keeping it super simple and just doing like a contact us page and going ahead and directing people to your email. But I usually recommend either Wix, which is usually the most well-rounded, easiest one, or Squarespace, or like I said, Shopify for e-commerce. So those would be my recommendations. But thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Any more? Are we good?
We're good right now.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Okay, cool. Okay, and then winning website strategies. So every page that you have should have a clear call to action, guiding visitors to the next step. So, for a contact us page, you want to have a nice clear button that's bold and, right, that says contact us. On your products and services page, of course, learn more or buy now. On your homepage, you can go ahead and do shop our products, but you want to have a clear call to action and a slash button for people to go ahead and to take the next step to go ahead and get them down the funnel to go ahead and make that ultimate purchase, or to go ahead and make that reach out to go ahead and contact you to go ahead and book whatever service that you're going ahead and providing. You also want to go ahead and make sure that your website is optimized for search engines. I'm going to go ahead and have a section that's entirely dedicated to SEO, but kind of like a overview. You basically just want to make sure you put your keywords everywhere that you can, including your website title, your blog content, your product descriptions, just keywords, keywords, keywords. And then lastly, you want to go ahead and use sign-up forms and lead magnets to capture visitor information. That's going to be it's a little bit of a later step. You can go ahead and get away when you're first starting off your business, not having something like this. But if you're really trying to go ahead and grow and to go ahead and increase your sales as business owners, I definitely recommend going and having some type of sign-up form and lead magnet to go ahead and to get people's emails, their phone numbers, just basically more information for them to go ahead and for you to get in contact with them one-on-one. So that way you can go ahead and communicate with them and provide updates and keep your brand as top of mind as you can. And we'll go in a little bit into what lead magnets are when I get into the content marketing section. But basically, it's just a kind of a freebie, something that's going to go ahead and provide value to your audience or your potential customers. That would give them a reason to go ahead and want to give you their email or their phone number to go ahead and to get more in touch with them. So that's something like a free download, like a free guide, or some type of free sample or something along the lines of that, to go ahead and to provide value, since they're giving you value in the form of like their email address. Okay, awesome. So that's websites. Now we'll get into the funnest of the fun topics, which is SEO/SEM. So SEO stands for search engine optimization, and SEM stands for search engine marketing. By search engine, I mean Google, Bing. Those are the top two. I mean, there's other ones too that I can't remember off the top of my head, but usually people will either use Google or Bing, or back in the day, maybe Yahoo. SEO basically is optimizing your content, keywords, and technical aspects, your website, your social, to improve the visibility of your website / your business in search results. So basically it just means going ahead and getting your business to the top of Google searches, Bing searches, just different search results. And these search results can go ahead and be on platforms also too, like Instagram and Facebook, but you basically just want to have your business as close to the top as you can. The benefits of SEO is the fact that it's actually goes ahead and it's free. It's one of the few ways to go ahead and the few free ways to go ahead and get your business promoted. But it's free traffic over time, which I'll get into that with the limitations. But it basically increases the visibility of your business on search engines. In terms of the limitations, is that the results can take a long time to show. I'm not sure if any of you have gone ahead and hired SEO specialists before. I've had other clients of mine who've hired SEO specialists to go ahead and optimize the website. And one of the biggest complaints I hear is the fact that they don't necessarily see results, especially on the front end. And that's because results can take a long time to go ahead and to show and to build, because you're building up content over time, and you're building authority with the search engines to go ahead and to have your business slowly crawl all the way up to the top. And it can take some time for the search engines to go ahead and to comb your page, for you to build up enough content to go ahead and show the fact that you're an authority on this topic, or that your business is credible enough. And it also goes ahead and does require knowledge of some SEO best practices, which we'll talk about some of those best practices during the webinar. But again, it is one of those areas where people can tend to go ahead and want to go ahead and hire somebody who's more of a specialty, especially for off-page SEO, which we'll touch on. Actually, on that, SEO types. So there's two types of SEO. You have on-site SEO, and then you have off-site SEO. So on-site SEO is the optimization of elements within your website. So these are within your website, or within your social page, that affects search engine rankings. So the goal here for on-site SEO is to make your website more relevant, user-friendly, and understandable for search engines to know what your page is basically about. Versus offsite SEO are all actions taken outside of your website or outside of your own content, like your social media pages, to improve its ranking. So it goes ahead and focuses on building business authority and reputation by acquiring links and mentions from other reputable websites and platforms. So these are things that other people are posting about your business, your website, linking to it. So basically it's building reputation by, your community of people who are going ahead and sharing, your information. And that could basically be, people reviewing your business on Google, or Yelp, or, Glassdoor, whatever it might go ahead and be, by people going ahead and posting links to your website or to your social on like their blog post, or again, they're mentioning in their social media accounts or like a Reddit post. But basically it's just mentions of your business outside of your owned business channels. I hope that makes sense and is clear. It's one of the more technical kind of things to go ahead and get into, so just want to make sure. So your SEO/SEM roadmap. So first thing you want to do is claim your Google business page, which is one of the lowest hanging fruits. And that's one area that you guys can all go ahead and basically take advantage of some SEO benefits. So definitely recommend that for all of you. Then you want to go ahead and do some keyword research, place those keyword places, and then try to get your business mentioned. So step one, claiming your Google business page. So if you haven't already, this is a very easy way to go ahead and to get your business popping up on Google. So to go ahead and claim or to make a Google business page, if you don't already have one, you can do it one of two ways. You can search for your business. Then when you search for your business, if your business automatically comes up, but let's say if you don't own the page yet, you can select the correct business, and then click claim this business account. It'll go ahead and be a little basically button to go ahead and click when you'll see it go ahead and come up on the page. Or to go ahead and to make a fresh Google business profile, you want to go ahead and sign into Google My Business and then click add your business. So this is an example over here. If you look to the right, this is basically what a Google business page will look like. And it goes ahead and has, your website, directions, you can save the page, you can look at your customer reviews, you have your hours, your phone number. So it has basically all of your business's core key information on there. So definitely recommend all of you go ahead and make one, if not claim it. Oh, and then also make sure that you go ahead and try to upload some photos when you can, including your logo and, photos of your overall business photos, like let's say if you wanted your team or some like, top level, a picture of all your product suite or just, featured products or whatever it might be, but add some pictures on there. Okay, next step is to go ahead and do keyword research. So keyword research is basically just the process of finding and analyzing search terms that people enter into search engines. Basically, if a clothing brand, you look up like a specific type of clothing that they would be looking to buy. If they're looking to go ahead and learn something new, a certain topic. So just getting into the minds of audiences and customers and what they might search to go ahead and to find your business. And you can use these terms, these keyword terms, basically in all of your materials, like your blog, your website, your social media, to better reach your audience. Some here are some of the top 3 tools I would go ahead and say that you can use to go ahead and to do some keyword research to figure out what people are searching, to go ahead and to find your business or relevant keywords. The first one is literally called Free Keyword Research Tool. It's super simple, basic tool that's completely free to use, which is the reason why I usually go ahead and recommend it, especially when people are first starting off. All you have to do is basically just type into the box something that's related to your business, something that you go ahead and sell, or something that people off the top of your head you might think of, and it'll give you basically related terms, how often it's searched, how many people have searched it, in the past, like, 30 to 60 days. So you can see exactly, how well that keyword would go ahead and do. So that way you can then use those keywords in your content. The only caveat about keywords I would go ahead and say is the fact that when you use these tools, when you type them in and you'll see that there'll be a little a little metric that's like the volume, the search volume of it. By search volume, it means how many people have gone ahead and searched this term. Usually shorter terms and, very simple ones. Like if you looked up like, social media, or if you looked up, the word clothing, like those are very short, phrases or keywords, and those are usually going to have very high search volume. So a lot of people are searching those, but the only bad thing about it is the fact that so many people are searching them, the competition for those pages is going to be very, very high. So as a small business, it's going to be kind of hard to go ahead and to capture people on those pages, and your page will likely not rank. So try to go ahead and stick to keywords that have, a high to low. You can get a mix of different volumes. I would stick to about like medium if you can, but like getting a good solid mix of high volume and low volume keywords is going to go ahead and be really good. Low volume, while you're going to have less people looking for them, your business is most likely going to go ahead and pop up in those searches, or are more likely to pop up in the searches because there's less competition. So something to keep in mind when it comes to using keywords. The next step is to go ahead and place those keywords everywhere. And I do mean everywhere. On your website, there's tons of places to go ahead and put these, in your URLs for your website, your titles, your page headers, your body paragraphs, product descriptions, in your images. In your images, I do mean alt text. If you ever post it on social, sometimes you'll go ahead and see underneath advanced settings, there'll be a section where you can go ahead and add description or alt text, which basically is just text that describes the picture. That's helpful to go ahead and just, it's mainly used for people who are disabled in some way, where they either have visual impairment or hearing impairment, where they can't see or they can't go ahead and hear video, to help them. But it's also useful for algorithms to figure out your content. So it's a good place to go ahead and place your keywords too. And you have your blog, of course, and then same thing with social media. And social media, I mean, like, your description, your bio, again, images with alt text and videos with captions displayed. So yeah, everywhere you can, keywords. And then the last step, which is going to be the hardest one, is off-page, off-site SEO. So getting your business mentioned in other places. So one of the hardest things to go ahead and do is to get other people to go ahead and mention your business. It's one thing for them to go ahead and buy, but that takes another step for them to actually place it somewhere else. So one of these things is link building. So getting other websites to link back to your website. It's one of the most important off-page SEO activities, and again, the hardest to do. This is where a lot of people will go ahead and lean into, freelancers and SEO specialists to go and help them to go ahead and get their website onto other pages. It's called backlinking. So this is going to be an area. I mean, you can always go ahead and you can do it yourself. That requires, you to go ahead and create different pages, to reach out to other page owners and basically try to get your link on there. You can always go ahead and do that. But again, it tends to be a little bit difficult. But there's other ways to go ahead and to get those off-page SEO points. You can go ahead and do something like, social media engagement. So that's basically increasing engagements and share on social. That you can go ahead and do that by going ahead and posting in different communities, and getting people to go ahead and mention your business there, or mentioning your own business there. You can go ahead and go into like a Reddit forum or like a Facebook group and go ahead and mention your business there. So stuff like that. You can also go ahead and do something like podcasting. So being guests on other people's podcasts, especially if you have something that's a business that's more, service-based or expertise-based. It's a really good way to go ahead and to get some really high-ranking mentions on something like a podcast. And then the lowest kind of hanging fruit is online reviews. So once you activate your Google business page, you can also create a Yelp page, a Foursquare page, I guess. And you can go ahead and have, people go ahead and post reviews. So that's going to be probably one of the lowest hanging fruit in terms of offsite SEO. Okay, I hope I did SEO justice. Again, it's one of the more kind of technical ones, but I hope you guys understand kind of, or at least have a better understanding of what it is. In terms of winning strategies, if you're a local business, again, I really stress use Google Business. And then also target using local keywords to improve local SEO. Local SEO is going to be your best friend because these are going to go ahead and be things that are going to have a just naturally lower value, because you're not necessarily going to have the whole country looking up, businesses in, Brentwood or in, like Wyandanch or wherever you go ahead it might be. There's only going to be so many people going ahead and looking for those, but those people are going to be people who are in your neighborhood and who are going to be looking for your services. So going ahead and using those keywords is going to go ahead and help to just going to be an automatic win for you in terms of, getting those local audiences directed to your business. Number two, using Google's Google Rewards websites with high quality and useful content, aim for depth over quantity. So that goes back to the point I had about blogs, going ahead and using blogs to go ahead and have that high quality and useful content to go ahead and increase your rankings. And then the last thing is just Google Ads to create a targeted pay per click. So that's PPC. That's how you basically pay for Google Ads. I don't necessarily need to get into that. There's a bunch of different ways that you can pay. But you can go ahead and use basically Google Ads to go ahead and drive traffic to your website pretty quickly. Google Ads is one of those things where it's one of my, not necessarily least favorite ways to go ahead into for paid advertising. My least favorite is definitely display, which I don't even talk about display because who likes, pop-up ads. But Google search ads are good, but they do I tend to find mixed results in terms of the bang for buck. I definitely think that social media ads go ahead and give you way more value for your money, but it's also it's still another strategy that you can use for paid, and you can give it a try, test it out, see if it works out for you. If it doesn't, then you can always deprioritize it, put less budgets in there. I just tend to find it can be a very easy money suck as opposed to going ahead and social ads, which can also be a money suck, but I think there's a little bit better value there, especially in terms of targeting. So yeah, so that's SEO/SEM. Then we move on to email. So email, basically just using emails to send updates, promotions, personalized content to your list of subscribers, is one of the kind of like underutilized ways of using can't talk right now of digital marketing. It's a really good way to connect to your customers one-on-one, and it has a really amazing conversion rate. So once you get into the email boxes, it's a lot easier to convert people as opposed to going ahead and talking out into the ether, on social or search or wherever, but it's very good for conversion. The benefits, again, direct and personal communication and super high ROI, so return on investment, which I had mentioned. The limitations there is the fact that it does require building a quality email list. And in order to go ahead and build that list, you do have to have people go ahead and sign up for your emails. So usually you have to prompt them and direct them either to your website to go ahead and plug in their information. And people's emails is not something that they want to necessarily give lightly. So it can be a little bit of a challenge to go ahead, at least when you're starting off. That's usually why I recommend going ahead and having something like a offering, a guide or some type of value for people to want to go ahead and exchange their email for whatever, value product you're giving. And then it also goes ahead and needs strong design and copywriting because you are going ahead and speaking to people and you are going ahead and presenting yourself as your business. So you want to go ahead and make sure the fact that it's visually appealing so people want to read it, but also it's free of mistakes. So that way, again, your business looks credible. Okay, awesome. In terms of email roadmaps, so you want to choose an email platform is the first step. That's basically just going to be where you host/send your emails out from. Step 2 is going to be building your email list. 3, creating content for your emails. And then 4 is sending emails to your email list. So choosing an email platform, one of the good things about choosing an email platform is that a lot of email platforms nowadays are integrated with your website. Sites like Wix, Shopify, I believe, Squarespace also too, and like GoDaddy, they all have email marketing features that you can go ahead and use. You don't have to go to another platform to go ahead and leverage this. You can just go ahead and use your website builder. So you want to go ahead and look out for, website builders that have email templates. Sorry, corn's honking. Email automation, analytics. So these are all going to be things that are going to be useful to you to go ahead and make the email process easier. Email templates, of course, you can go ahead and set up. You can go ahead and drag and drop your information without having to build stuff from scratch. Email automation, which is one of those things that is going to be your bread and butter for emails, especially going back to the point of social media. Emails can also be a time-consuming process. I would say less time-consuming than social, just because emails, it tends to be a lot of text, so it's less of recording and having to set up and more just kind of trying to bang out an email draft and making it valuable, insightful, but it's having it automated is going to go ahead and make your life a lot easier. And then email analytics, just so you can go ahead and figure out, okay, who's opening my email, who's unsubscribing from the email list, trying to figure out, okay, like, are they unsubscribing because they don't like the information? Are they unsubscribing because I'm emailing too much? So these are things that you want to look out for when you're choosing an email platform. Building your email list. To build your email list, you're going to go ahead and want to use a landing page. So that's basically a website page or on-site pop-up that's dedicated to signing up for your email list. So that's basically just the page where you go ahead and you just hop onto a website and they're like, oh, enter your email here, whatever it might be. You can go ahead and use social media also. So you can direct your social media followers to your website or to your email sign-up page. You can also go ahead and this is the lead magnets I was talking about earlier by offering valuable content. So free tutorial, ebook consultation, 15-minute consultation in exchange for their email to go ahead and to get them to go ahead and send your email. So lead magnets. You can go ahead and look it up further. There's tons of examples of different types of lead magnets that you can use that are tailored to your business, but it's a really good way to go ahead and to have that exchange. Okay, so then there's creating content for your emails. So these are the types of content you can send to your email list. You have triggered emails, which are sent based off of specific actions that a user takes. So let's say if a user goes ahead and subscribes to your email list, you can set up basically an automated email, a triggered email, that goes ahead and sends an email to them as soon as they go ahead and subscribe, saying, like, welcome. Here's what you can expect from our email newsletters. This is how often we share it out. You can have another one for, abandoned carts. I'm sure you guys have all gotten those before when you go ahead and, buy something, online off of like Amazon or Shein or wherever you might go ahead and be shopping, where they're like, oh, you left your cart. And then post-purchase follow-ups, which is some of the ones that I love the most, aside from, of course, newsletters, is just, kind of, for lack of better words, aftercare, to go ahead and to be like, oh, thank you for shopping with us, here's, this is what you can expect. Here's some information about the shipping, whatever it goes ahead it might be, but just going and keeping in touch and building a relationship with the people who are on your email list. It's promotional emails, of course, so you can send to promote a product or a service, whether it's a sale, a holiday promotion, or a new product launch. Then you have newsletters. So those are regularly scheduled emails to go ahead and help keep subscribers informed about company updates, industry news, and relevant content. These for newsletters, I usually recommend to people to send them, like, you can send them once a month. I would say usually is the regular cadence. Any more than that, and you can tend to annoy people a little bit. Any less than that, people might forget that you're even there. So there's usually once a month is a sweet spot for newsletters. And then, of course, news and updates. So those are basically just emails sent out on a as needed basis about breaking news or important updates about your business. For your industry. People sometimes really like to receive these. Again, it's building that relationship with your customer to make them feel like they're part of your business and your business family. And then here's some stuff for sending emails to your email list. So the best times to send, a lot of studies suggest that usually between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. on weekdays often perform better. I like to think of it as, when do you usually check your emails, but also thinking about when your customers check their emails and when they might want best to hear from you. But people usually tend to go ahead and check their emails in the morning on average. Avoid oversending. So not bombarding your subscribers with emails too frequently, finding a balance between top of mind and not overwhelming them, making sure that you have a clear call to action, keep it visible and short, and then write for mobile. So most people go ahead and check their emails on mobile. Honestly, most people go ahead and interact with the internet on mobile nowadays. So you just want to make sure that your content is optimized to mobile. So you want to break it up into short paragraphs or bullet points for easy reading. And use a single column layout to go ahead and ensure emails that are properly displayed on all devices. So just optimize for a mobile, and that goes across the board in terms of your website too, and your anything that you go ahead and post on social. Just make sure it looks good on mobile, because usually like 80% of the people who visit your pages will be on mobile most of the time. Okay, and here's some winning strategies. So again, creating automated emails makes your life a lot easier, and it helps to nurture leads without you having to go ahead and be as in the weeds with it. It's going to go ahead and keep the process going ahead and going, even if you're not necessarily around or if you can't go ahead and keep an eye on it. Then you also, it's a really good strategy to go ahead and use is dividing your email into segments. So this segmented list can be based on customer interests. It can be based on where the people are coming from. You can have a list of people who are, specifically coming from Instagram, who are coming from Facebook. And to have these lists, basically you would go ahead and have like, a specific link that people from Facebook would use, a specific link that people with Instagram would use to go ahead and direct them to a landing page on your website to sign up for emails. So you can keep those lists segmented, so you can go ahead and speak to different audiences in more targeted ways. You don't necessarily have to, it's a bit more in the weeds, but it's just another strategy to keep out there if you really want to lean into email content. And then again, I think I had touched on this point a little bit earlier, but optimize your emails for mobile. And I think that's it for email. I'll cover over content really quickly, and then I think we'll be wrapping up. Okay, hopefully this is a good time. Okay, last point is content, which is going to be the bread and butter of digital marketing, because you can't have digital marketing without having content. So that's just basically creating valuable and relevant content, like ebooks to attract specific audiences and ultimately driving customer action. The benefit is the fact that it builds brand authority and trust. It goes ahead and boosts SEO and quality content, which we had talked about a little bit earlier. The limitations with content marketing is the fact that it can take a lot of time to create, depending on the type of content that you're making. Video is going to be a lot more heavy than text, but either way, it's still going to go ahead and require your time and effort. And then the return on investment can be a hit or a miss. By that, I mean, having to quantify, the return on investment is going to go ahead and be if you were to go ahead and create, a video tutorial that you post on YouTube, or if you were to go ahead and create, a guide. A lot of times those things tend to go ahead and be a little bit slower moving in the beginning while you build traction, and it's hard to go ahead and tie, customer purchases to the content that you're making. It definitely goes ahead and it does move the needle, but it's a little bit hard to go ahead and connect the return on investment directly to the content. So something to keep in mind. Your content roadmap, you're going to want to choose the type of content that you're going to make. You want to create the content and then promote your content. Pretty straightforward. So choosing the type of content that you're going to go ahead and make. These are kind of, again, not necessarily all encompassing, but some of the top content types that I've gone ahead and seen people go ahead and use. So you have stuff like blog post, which we had talked about a little bit earlier, basically just written content published to your website to share insights and engage with your audience. You'll notice at the bottom of the screen, I have a little arrow that goes from least effort to most effort. So the blog post is going to be probably some of your least effort that you can go ahead and do, just because, again, it's text. Not to say it's going to go ahead and be easy to do, but it's the least amount of effort. Blog posts are great for building authority and improving SEO. And then you have guides, detailed educational documents that cover specific topics in depth. So guides are really good for trying to go ahead and get those lead magnets. I love a good guide for lead magnets. You can go ahead and, I saw someone doing a skincare business. You can go ahead and do a skincare guide, a skincare routine documented, about like, skin tear by, type, skin type, like dry or oily, and you can go ahead and include your products in there. But I love a good guide for lead magnets. And Anna, yes, I'll be going ahead and sharing out the slides at the probably most likely Monday you'll be getting these slides, but this is also recorded on Facebook in case anybody wants to watch it back too. But I will be sending a copy of the slides probably early next week. But guys, they help audiences basically solve a problem. So it's really good for that. Nice, thank you. And you have webinars similar to this one, which are live or recorded online seminars where you present information, host Q&A sessions, etc. So they're great for Q&As, so people have, frequently asked questions, or if you want to engage with your audience to go ahead and get, again, that one-on-one connection, and demonstrating products, kind of like a QVC, I guess, if you will. Then you have podcast, so audio content where you can share expertise, interview industry leaders, and discuss trending topics. It's really good for building a loyal audience. So that's where you go ahead and get basically just, your ride or dies that go ahead and share your content to other people, that promote your content to other businesses. Once you get to podcast level, you do tend to go ahead and become a part of people's like routines. So again, really good for building that brand loyalty. And then video courses, which is going to be the most effort, but it can really help your business, one, but it can also become its own business in itself, and go ahead and provide really good returns. I've seen people go ahead and make like killings off a video course, and it ends up surpassing the products they actually go ahead and sell. But it's a series of basically educational videos designed to go and teach a skill or concept over multiple sessions. So I find this a lot with artists basically going ahead and making, let's say if you go ahead and make paintings, a how to paint series or whatever it might be, to go ahead and showcase your expertise, but then also to go ahead and to basically show, to teach people a lesson. So these are kind of just main types of content, but there's of course other types too that you can go ahead and do. But these are just some good ones, especially in terms of going ahead and getting those lead magnets. So then you want to create your content. So across the board, this is usually kind of a step-by-step of how you would want to go ahead and start your content. So the first thing before you go ahead and make your content is you want to get to know your audience. So you want to choose a relevant topic or a problem based on your audience's needs. Needs is going to be the big keyword here. You want to go ahead and, again, value. You want to provide value to your audience. So you want to go ahead and just basically research thoroughly. So you go ahead and make sure that you're offering high quality content that people are going to seek out. So you don't want to go ahead and waste your efforts on something that people don't necessarily need or want, because that's going to go ahead and make you sad, and people aren't necessarily, it's going to make other people sad too. So then you want to go ahead and make an outline. So creating a rough draft on what the content will look like. So this is the time to ideate, to ask questions, to get feedback. It's really good to have someone to go ahead and bounce your ideas off of, because sometimes when you have your own ideas, while they might be good, sometimes, you might be inside the echo chamber where your business really well. So sometimes, one, it's hard to go ahead and to know what other people are thinking, especially customers. But then, it also might be the fact that you're too leaned into it. So you might miss some stuff that people might, want to see or know from you or know about your business. Then you of course you want to make the content. So you want to write or record your content depending on the type of content that you're making, and make sure that the quality is as high as you can go ahead and get it. So for video, you want to go ahead and use good lighting. You want to have a clear appearance, clear sound. For audio, clear sound is going to be the key there. Try to go ahead and have no background noise. And then written, you just want to make sure it's concise, informative, and no mistakes if you can. I love Grammarly. I'm terrible at spelling and grammar. So I have Grammarly for everything. And then edit and polish. So you just want to make sure you use editing tools to polish your content. For video, you have Adobe Premiere, Lightroom, and Canva. For audio, you have something like GarageBand, which I think is free for Mac users. And then written, I mentioned Grammarly, but Grammarly, love Grammarly, and Yoast SEO. Then you have promoting your content. So, you promote your content using social media, which we covered, influencers, and affiliate marketing. So this is one area, as small business owners, again, if you have the budget to do it, amazing. If you don't, totally fine. But small scale influencers often have highly engaged audiences, and they tend to be a lot cheaper. So you don't necessarily have to go ahead and go for super high tier, influencers that have, like tens of thousands of followers. The influencer can have, a couple, 1,000 followers, a couple thousand followers, and you're going to go ahead and get a lot better pricing, and the audiences are likely to go ahead and be more engaged. So you can collaborate them to promote your content in exchange for a flat fee, or in exchange for a commission if you're using something like affiliate links, which is a really good place to go ahead and start when you're getting into influencer marketing, because it's a low cost effort, because they don't necessarily go ahead and get paid until somebody makes a sale. So, excuse me, sorry. So they'll get a small percentage usually. I think industry average is anywhere between like 10%, 15%, usually somewhere in between there, a commission off of the sale that they go ahead and make. So again, they don't necessarily get paid until they actually go ahead and help you to go ahead and make a purchase. So affiliate marketing is definitely the way to go if you want to dip in there. The online communities and forums, so you can share your content and your expertise in forums, social media groups, or industry-specific communities like LinkedIn or Facebook groups. The only caveat I would go ahead and say there is the fact that in these communities, they can tend to be very sensitive to promotions. So anything that's going to be like, like I have this really great product, buy it here. It can be a bit sensitive to that. So in these communities, you just want to make sure that you're treading lightly and you're just going ahead and trying to provide value. So you can go ahead and answer people's questions, going ahead and, engaging people, going ahead and commenting and liking their posts, loving it or whatever it might be. But just come in there as, as an individual who has expertise, not necessarily as a business owner a lot of times in these communities, to build their credibility. And then last but not least is guest posting. So partnering with industry influencers or other businesses to promote their content to their audience. And what I mean by that is basically almost kind of like a partnership with another business that maybe has a similar interest as you, or has a similar audience, or has an audience that might benefit from your products, or vice versa. You guys can create co-branded content where you're both in the content. Again, that can go ahead and be a podcast where you're a guest host on there, or it can go ahead and be, social media video that you guys are going and both featured in. But when you go ahead and guest post or cross post, it'll be promoted to both of your networks. So you can go ahead and then gain each other's followers in a sense. So combining the pools and making it a larger pool. Okay, and then last but not least, content winning strategies. So you want to go ahead and make sure you research your target demographic, identify their pain points, needs, and preferences. Make sure that you go ahead and turn your content into multiple formats to go ahead and make your life easier, like turning a blog post into a video or a podcast episode. And then try to go ahead and partner with other industry experts or influencers or other business owners. Guest blogging, co-hosting webinars, or joint podcasts can introduce your brand to a wider audience. I've seen really good success with partnering with other businesses to go ahead and grow your platform. So keep your mind open with, who you're talking with. Going ahead and keeping your business network vast and engaged, and just making sure that you go ahead and you leverage, your community in that sense. Awesome. Okay, so I think we've kind of come towards the end. This is basically just a slide review of what we had kind of talked about earlier, just the 5 different pillars that I had mentioned, so we don't have to cover over that again. Okay, and then this is basically just an overall roadmap. Like if I was going ahead and starting a business from scratch, this is probably the roadmap that I would use to go ahead and to kind of get started. So, in terms of highest priority to kind of lower priority, or something that you can go ahead and do later on in the line. So that first step, creating a Google business page, which every one of you should do after you get off this call if you do have a business, creating social media accounts, then building your website, then creating content, of course, for your social media and for your website, building an email list, and then creating ads to direct to your pages. So you can take a picture of this roadmap and use it almost as like a checklist for yourself. You can swap those steps as you go ahead and go along, but I feel like this is probably the best, I guess, order that I could probably think of. Maybe minus swapping maybe the create ads with building an email list if you don't want to build an email list, which you don't have to, but yeah. And here's some resources that, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and provide these slides to you guys. I'm going to try to send them out Monday. So keep an eye out for an email from me on Monday. I'll provide the slides. Also links to some more resources. So if you guys use the QR codes, you can go ahead and on the left one, you can go ahead and scan the QR code to register for more upcoming workshops that we have. both in person and online. Our October calendar is supposed to be going ahead. It should be coming out sometime next week, I want to say, early next week. We do have some October in-person classes, but the online ones we're in the process of scheduling. And then the right QR code is basically to sign up for my virtual office hours. So that's basically 45 minutes of one-on-one time where I can go ahead and help you specifically with your business, whether if you have questions, if you need to set something up, if you want to create a social media strategy or digital marketing strategy. 45 minutes entirely free. You can come in person or online, and I'll be there for you. So awesome. And I think that's the end. We've come to the conclusion. Thank you all for sticking through the hour and a half. I know there's a lot of information. So appreciate you being here. If you guys have any questions, you can stick around and pop the questions in the Q&A, and I can answer them. But if not, feel free to go and have a wonderful night. So yeah, awesome. Now, thank you guys. I'll just hang around for a little bit, but you can, like I said, feel free to sign off. Oh, so happy to hear that. I really liked it. Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, I can stop the share. And I think we can probably stop recording too, guys. I think we're good to go.